Good evening. It is October 15th, 2024. October 15th, 2024. I'm Glenda Carlin, and this is my weekly A Course in Miracles and Dzogchen, which is the highest teaching in Buddhism, Zoom virtual meeting. And for those that can't attend, I record it and then post it on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel called Glenda Carlin, A Course in Miracles. First thing, though, we invite in. They're always here, but we invite in Jesus, Buddha, Holy Spirit, enlightened beings, ascended masters. You're always here, but I invite you in to guide me what to do or say. Help each of those present here with insights that can help them in their awakening path. And those that watch this on YouTube later, help them have insights as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, God Terry. Welcome, God Barbie. Welcome, God Joan. Welcome, God Angela. Welcome, God Leon. Welcome, God Glenda. And in lesson 183 in A Course in Miracles, I'm not making this up. Jesus says, call yourself by your name, God. Now, most course students, they have a hard time even get to the end. Sometimes different days I'll think, oh yeah, you're a Christ. You're the Jesus says we're all Christ. Spirits, but that's the first phase. The real deal is there's only God. There's only the clear light of God presence. That's all there is, animating all the forms and all the realms. We just have temporary obscurations are called. That means thoughts, feelings, images, clouds. Course in Miracles calls it clouds. There's a cloud, a veil that's dropped, that behind it's the sun, the clear light of God. But in moments of practice and in meditation, you get glimpses of that light. It can be any color, all kinds of colors, but ultimately it's a clear light. The topic of tonight's, oh wait, before I get started on that, the topic is, for the next 6 Tuesday nights, I have a 6-week lucid dream training from Andrew Holacek, the man that wrote Dream Yoga, Andrew Holacek. He has a free website, but then you pay, I forget if it's $19.99 a month, and you join a group where they have like a meditation group, they have a book study group, then they offer free things. This is a free dream yoga book training. And Andrew Holacek is actually leading this with another woman. So you can't beat that because he's got all kinds of teachers in his group. And I'm attending a 1-week lucid training retreat of his in March of next year. This is how much this book has changed my life. And anyone that's followed me, A Course in Miracles, Dzogchen Buddhism, all those books from Lama Surya Das, Thich Nhat Hanh, Mingyur Rinpoche, I can't name them all, but Andrew Holacek, he is a dream yoga meditation master. And this book describes things that I didn't know what they were that were happening to me. That's how good this book is, because it talks about the clear light mind. But more than that, it talks about, we were sort of covering this before I started recording. Most people are just aware of this physical body, and it's called the gross, GROSS, physical body. But there's a subtle body underneath this, and that subtle body consists of channels, winds, drops, and wheels. Now, I wouldn't understand this, but it's happened to me. And he writes, and I put it in my email, where he even says, I might as well just read what I wrote in here. What I took out of his book is from page 60 and 61. Although the subtle body isn't a material body like the outer gross body, that doesn't make it less real. In a sense, it's more real because it's the foundation for the outer body. In the Tibetan Buddhist view, the outer is an expression of the inner. These Tibetans have done this for thousands of years. They got this stuff figured out. And Andrew Holochuk, he went to India. He did these 3-year retreat. This man's 30, 40 years of this. So he values these Tibetans and what they've learned. And so he just builds on it. Or he practices it and then explains it to us Westerners. The best way to explore the subtle body and discover the 4 main constituents for yourself is through the inner yogas. And those yogas are dream, sleep, and bardo. And like Terry was mentioning, oh, I don't dream. Well, in this book, Andrew Holochuk talks about that. Oh yeah, nobody thinks they're dreaming, but dreams are going on all night long. And we want to become lucid. Lucid means we're awake during a dream and we recognize we're having a dream at nighttime. And as we learn to do that, I haven't had a lucid dream yet. I might have been close on one. But what happens, it helps you in your daytime because everything during the day is a daytime dream. This whole thing's a dream, just like Jesus says in A Course in Miracles. And I think maybe in my, oh yeah, in my email, here's one thing where Jesus says, no, maybe that was last week. Oh, last week. This is worth me finding. Because last week, man, I was just covering dreams all over the quotes all over from Jesus about dreams and rising up from them. Direct you up the ladder. That separation took you down. Hold on here a minute. I want to find one of these. All this was trying to transcend. Lay down your dreams, you holy Son of God, and rising up as God created you, dispense with idols and remember him, meaning God. Now, oh yeah, we talk about the Course in Miracles students, they say this stuff. And I used to say this stuff, oh, it's just a dream. Well, hey, what I'm wanting you to get to is that you recognize you're awake in the dream and instances. And Andrew Holochuk calls that illusory form. He says there's 2 things that help wake you up is meditation and the practice of illusory form. An illusory form, then I found, I've got all my little papers here. I found it here, where he says, illusory form. Remember last week, when was this? I forget. There's no date on this. Pin 8. He says to put sticky notes around on your toothbrush in drawers, like your silverware drawer, your towel drawer, your computer, and on the sticky notes, write, you're dreaming, or, hey, this is a dream. And here's what he writes. For the Tibetans, the main daily induction practice, induction means to induce you their practice, how they integrate it during the day. Outside of meditation is the practice of illusory, illusory form. It's a simple practice. Throughout the day, as often as you can, constantly remind yourself that everything you're experiencing now is just a dream or illusory. The idea for us here is that by reciting this as often as you can, you're planting seeds that will sprout while you're dreaming. He's talking about the nighttime dreams. And then you will flash onto the fact that, hey, this is a dream, and instantly become lucid. It's the pop-up theme again. You want to create a bunch of pop-ups. That means during the day, last week I talked about triggers. I hear a train now. I'll do this. I'll say, May I wake up within the dream and grasp the fact that I am dreaming so I can help all sentient beings wake up. Then when my air conditioner comes on, I pick up certain sounds or I see something. These are a way to cause me to remember to practice. Or I look around and go, hey, because see, you want to use the word with some inflection, like, hey, this is a dream, because you're pointing it out. You're not being just morose around this or depressed. This isn't the point. The point is to just startle yourself, just be pointed different times during the day. Then he also, this is my last video or a couple months before, during the day, you'll go, tonight, I'm going to have many dreams. Tonight, I'm going to remember my dreams. Tonight, I'm going to become lucid during my dreams, because you're planting the seeds. And somewhere, it's going to be somewhere in here he talks about, and I hadn't thought about it, but this is what I've done in my practice, is you read something, but I'd be taking notes. Then I would find I'd be even talking out loud, because Jesus calls that reasoning with yourself. It's a big deal. Andrew Holojek says, I've never heard anybody say this. What you're doing, you're reaffirming things verbally out loud of things you want to do. And what you're studying, what you're contemplating. So you're writing it. That's another way to get it in the unconscious mind. You're contemplating it with your mind, reasoning with yourself, and you're talking out loud, or you're reading these notes like, tonight, I'm going to have many dreams. Tonight, I'm going to remember my dreams. Tonight, I'm going to be lucid within my dreams. Because we're planting the seeds. But anyway, those are pop-ups, he's calling them. Pop-ups. This just wholeheartedly interconnects with A Course in Miracles and Dzogchen. That Lama Surya Das, he's got Dream Yoga CDs. See, and I even have those CDs, and I studied them a little bit. I'm going to get them back out again. But this book, and reading this book, it explains these channels. I was going to finish reading it. I'm just telling you, there's three types of inner yogas. Yoga means union. That's what that word yoga means, union. Well, it's union of mind, body, and spirit. But there's inner yogas. There's dream, sleep, and bardo. Bardo means a gap during death, preceding when the person's taking their last breath. There's a bardo. There's these things, these Tibetans in the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, they have documented it all and have sentences your family can read to you while you're when you're on your deathbed, if you so think you're dying, you're dying, and then even when you've passed, it's quiet in the room and they're reading these sentences to you that you've asked them to read to you. But just to give you an example, I can't remember these holy teachers over there in Tibet and India. These big names that are holy Tibetan leaders that taught these students that came out of the West in the 70s, like Surya Das, Krishna Das, and Ram Das. They all got named Das from one of these big gurus. But anyway, there was one of these holy, enlightened people on their on his deathbed. And one of these holy, enlightened, bigger than a Lama, was sitting by his bed. And Lama Surya Das was there and heard it, saw it. And he said that enlightened being was yelling, screaming at this guy. He'd taken his last breath. Go to the light, go to the light, go to the light. Because here's the deal. When you die, the physical body, when the physical body's here, it moderates this mental mind some. But you lose this physical body, what you're left with is this mental mind. It's not dead yet. It's still going. And it then exudes all these thoughts, feelings, emotions, and light happens. And a person can become awakened in a heartbeat at the moment of death, because this all happens fast. That's why we study that. Some of the people study this, so they can be aware of this clear light, because the light's clear. So how do you go to the light if you haven't trained in what clear light looks like? And so in meditation, you, with your eyes closed, you're looking in your mind. And it's you, and what this Andrew Holchek book explains it, it can be a black looking void, just a black void. Well, black contains all the colors, but clear light, which is God mind, doesn't hide anything. So therefore you see the black void and whatever else shows up. But because in a few weeks back, I would talk to you about knowing when you have the experience of joining in that space, mingling with God presence, and you've connected and dissolved with that presence, you know there's a God there. Now, meantime, in this awakened, enlightened happening that occurs in the physical world, because we still have duality. So we're looking at things, awareness, capital A awareness is looking out. The heightened deal there is then you see this clear light mind that's animating everything, and all thoughts and feelings and images are coming and going on that clear light mind. What Andrew Holchek explains, it's the deepest level of the mind is clear light. At the top is the psychic mind, which is part of ego. It's this conscious talking and stuff we're doing here, the gross body. Then there's a substrate, that's the unconscious, that where we store all these hundreds of thousands, millions of trillions of judgments that we've done on ourselves and people in the unconscious mind. The psyche and the unconscious mind equal ego, but below them you drop into the clear light mind. And that can happen when we're in meditation awake, but you can drop into the clear light mind during dreaming at night. Anyway, so I want to get back to what I was quoting here about this. After that's why I'm, let's see, just a minute. So the four main constituents, he calls it, in this yoga business is winds, prana, winds, prana, drops, and wheels. Now, wheels pertain to the chakras. Channels talk about this great ray that comes straight down, but there's two, I got a picture here. There's two vertical lines of winds, winds, one on each side of the main channel. But when we're not awakened, but during awakening, those channels get straightened out before they're all knotted up. He calls it like, plastic wrap all crunched up. I mean, it's just all knotted. The wind tubes are not open, and they're not open because they're filled with all our judgments, all our veils, all our thoughts. That's why we practice advanced forgiveness, because my topic tonight was 3 major ways to experience this clear light mind and to interbe with God's presence. And the first one is to have Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, and enlightened beings guide you what to do or say during the day. Be present with me. Help me. That's the first one. The second huge one is meditation. In my emails, a whole big deal on meditation. But the third one is this advanced Jesus forgiveness. It's huge, because in Jesus's advanced forgiveness, he talks about we look beyond the body to the spirit that's there. Well, that spirit that's there is the clear light. So that's called faking it while making it. Now, see my email, I didn't get some of this stuff revised from when I'd written that document, some of that information before. It's called faking it while making it, because you're already home. We're already home. We've never left home. It's only in a dream that we could be separate from our brothers, our Christ nature, our Buddha nature, and God presence. Only in a dream. Okay. But winds are also prana or energy. Okay, now like drops. Now, drops, see, that was a big one. I did, okay. Now, I've kind of talked to you all about this. I could not have done some of these enlightened things that happened to me by myself without that guru, Lama Surya Das. And I thank him. I don't know if I've ever thanked him publicly, but I thank him because in their training, when they got the word Lama before their name, they've been trained. They can give you light transmissions. And he gave those light transmissions to me and moved. There's a drop, and these drops are called our consciousness. And now somewhere in here might, maybe it's in the book. I'll find, let me see if I can remember. During the day, we're walking around, the drops, consciousness drops are in the head. Then as you meditate, when you meditate, the drops fall, their consciousness drops, fall into the heart. Remember, I talk about the heart's a big deal, that you open that heart up with put that big smile in there and open it up. And then when it's opened, like when I meditate, I'll see planet Earth right there in my heart. And you have these vertical, the main great ray and the two side channels. Those side channels are the yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine winds. And when we're not awakened, those channels are all crunched and knotted, and they're not joined. Yin and yang are not joined. That's why months ago I talked about the nine-pointed star. When at the below the navel, there's chakras down there, where the triangle becomes a pyramid, masculine energy and the feminine energy, and they join, and they're rotating opposite directions to unite the yin and yang, because in the separation, that's the opposites, part of this opposite deal, masculine, feminine. And it sounds weird, but this whole body's full of geometry, full of triangles, stars, light and energy. Just full, we're light beings. That's a Course in Miracles. But I'm getting into the nit grit about this and how you can open up and join up these two yin and yang, masculine, feminine channels. How you open the great ray, that's in my email. We'll talk about the great ray. But this drop, man, I did not know what it meant. Well, so in meditation, though, your consciousness, because your breathing kind of goes shorter, lighter. These consciousness, you're quitting, all these thoughts are happening. You've practiced, and it falls into your heart. But when you go to sleep at night, the drops go into your throat. The drop consciousness goes into your throat. And he's got exercises to move these drops. And to lay on your right side, because that's the feminine side, because you want this feminine energy, etc. You got to read the book. But it takes practice, your intention, and this can speed up, even though there's no time in your awakening. This will greatly help your enlightenment. Now, what I want to get to is these drops. So, and the wheels are called chakras, these chakras that are, let's see, I had another picture. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, here's one that's got a few pictures of chakras, but then all this energy, all this light energy, it just swirling, it's just circulating when all this gets open. But what I want to explain is, besides chakras inside your body, there are transpersonal chakras, and you just Google it, outside the body. Your heart and your mind join, these chakras join. And that Lama Sri Das helped me with that. And I actually, and you know, he doesn't tell you what's going on. But I felt something move from my heart. It slowly moved up the middle, and then I could have to check my notes if it stopped at my throat, but I think it kind of moved on up because it was going to my mind. And then it kind of left my head. Because there's winds. This is energy. These are consciousness, these drops. In our highest awakening, we become conscious, big C conscious, big A awareness of what we are, what our brothers are, and what God is. And if I had not experienced this, I would think, oh, that's a lot of hooey fooey. But no, no, no. Now, I could not do this by myself. So if you pray about it, meditate on it, pay to get people to help you. Because and then this is Andrew Holochek going on. The way these four constituents work together and how this all ties into the inner yogas for lucid dream induction is that the bindus, B-I-N-D-U-S, or drops, that's another word for it, B-I-N-D-U-S, you can Google it, or drops, move through the channels carried by the winds and gather at the chakras to create different states of consciousness. When we're awake, that means during the day, the drops, which remember our consciousness, are gathered at the head chakra. When we fall into deep, dreamless sleep, the drops fall from the head and gather at the heart. Oh, I thought it was meditation, but I think meditation for me, I think that, because I also remember, take your attention to your heart when you're meditating. The physical heart is the love, the divine love center. You want to take your attention to your heart, put that big smile in there and let that baby open up. Let it open up. And then another huge thing is to think about helping all sentient beings wake up. So then you think about simple thoughts of, I'd like to help all sentient beings wake up from this dream. You know, let my love and light help them. And it's huge. Somebody was mentioning in the Dzogchen LA meditation group I do today that I forget if it's less than 3% or 5% people might actually even talk about things like this, because they're in this material, solid, gross world of separation. Physical world is real. Now, we never put our body in harm's way. These are all blown up children's toys, all with a great light, cord of light coming in the top of the head, coming down through the form, inflating, animating this body with all this prana, all this energy, this light. But anyway, I'll go back here. What'd he say? When we dream, the drops come up from the heart and gather at the throat. One way that the inner yogas work with this natural process is through the power of visualization, which gently manipulates the process to induce lucid dreams. The idea here is that oh, this is so beautiful, that where the mind goes in visualization, the pranas go. That's where the winds go. Where the pranas or winds go, the bindus go. That's the drops. And where the bindus go, so goes consciousness. We'll see how this works shortly. He's got it all there in the book. Now, what I want to bring up about in my email, I think of the 3 major ways to open to this clear light mind, that's your natural state. Beside in meditation is visualization. And in my email, I've got the meditation from A Course in Miracles that I did for 4 years. Didn't know that was there. Real brief is I was facilitating in-person A Course in Miracles meetings once a week back, I want to say 2010, all before COVID. But I was preparing and had the course book open, and somehow opened that, or was reading the book that came to a paragraph that said you can't have, basically, I'm paraphrasing here, one dark companion to be in heaven. I know exactly where it was sitting. And when I read that, I went, oh, yes, I'll never be in heaven. And then I went, help me, Holy Spirit. And I was desperate. Help me. And I got the image of a book showed up in my mind. I've told this story a few times. And I used to wholesale books, but they were upstairs in these totes. And long story short, I went there and I'm opening these totes. There's 4, 5, 6 of them, taking the lid off, looking through these totes for this book. Finally, I find the book. It was Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard. I had never, no one had ever explained advanced forgiveness to me. If they had, I wasn't ready to hear it, which means we look past the body to this clear light of spirit that's there. See the flesh or see the spirit. You just look beyond the body. And in Dzogchen Buddhism, that's called Treched, T-R-E-C-H-O-D. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Cutting through, seeing through, being through. And that's what I do all the time now. It's just seeing through. You see through all these forms to this clear light that's here now. It's everywhere. It's just seeing through, being through. Oh, but I forgot, is that clear light a few weeks back, you know it's there. Once you meditate and you've connected and dissolved into that God presence, then you know it's there. You take your attention and you point it beyond thought in your mind, beyond thought to this clear light. You don't have to see the clear light, it's there. Just point it to clear light and lean back and rest. And see, comes a habit. And as you do that, you get more, it's more habitual, you feel better, you go and rest for a second. Even in your pain, you go rest for a second. But I've got the advantage that I got that great ray to open. Oh, but in that book, Disappearance of the Universe, I found this meditation. I didn't know it was there in A Course in Miracles. I wrote it and I carried it around and say it, and it's pure visualization. Here's the meditation. I did it for 4 years, and the Arc of Light got released. It's released first, Jesus. In my email, I redid those places in the course for Arc of Light and Great Ray or Rays as well. But the Arc of Light is released first, and then Jesus says the Great Ray can download. And that happened. I was in a retreat at Sedona, Arizona, in a hotel room, meditating, and the big brilliant light bulb went off, flash of light, and then my body started jerking up and down, my legs up and down, about 12 inches off the bed. It took me a while to figure out what was going on. Was the light had come into my body and was dispelling the darkness. My head was going right to left, because in my email it talks about, I'm going fast because I got to leave early tonight, is somewhere in this email Jesus talks about it's in this. It's worth me reading. This is so big. Page. Here it is. You have found your brother, and you will light each other's way, and from this light will the great rays extend back into darkness. So when my head went to the left, it was extending back, the light was going back into the darkness, and I was doing nothing. My light would come back to center. That's the vertical center. Then it'd go back to the right. And when it goes to the right, it's making room for God's presence. The great rays extend back into the darkness and forward unto God to shine away the past and so make room for his eternal presence, in which everything is radiant in the light. But see, it's not enough just to have that great ray download and the arc of light, because my heart hadn't opened, my mind hadn't awakened, the heart and mind hadn't joined, these pranas hadn't all been straightened out. And I'm not telling y'all this to think, for you to think, oh, this will never happen for me. Oh, yes, it can, or you won't be listening to me about talking about something like this. And if you hire a guru, inquire with them. You do light transmissions. Okay, so here was the meditation. Beyond the body, beyond the sun and stars, past everything you see and yet somehow familiar, is an arc of golden light that stretches as you look into a great and shining circle. So picture what you have to do. First, in your mind, you got to pick a little arc, a little teeny tiny quarter-inch, like a little black pencil line. Then you got to take that arc and visualize, draw it into a circle. Get that baby into a great and shining circle. And all the circle fills with light before your eyes. So after you got the circle, then you put light in that circle. Then the edges of the circle disappear. All this took me 4 years. Then the edges of the circle disappear. And what is in it is no longer contained at all. The light expands and covers everything, extending to infinity, forever shining and with no break or limit anywhere. This is real. This is literal. You could do it quicker than me. I didn't know the significance of me doing this. I didn't know what would happen, honest. I had no idea. It was just this beautiful meditation that was in that Renard book, and those ascended masters said it was important. Now, I also, then I look back through my notes. Also, there's a visualization, because I know the great rays here in Hinduism called a cord of light. You just in your mind visualize this cord of light. But for this cord of light to be here, there's a picture of a huge sun above your head with a ray, like sun rays, right? A ray coming down. And Jesus says, and of course, a ray connects you to eternity. Oh, this is literal. You're visualizing that great ray coming in. Then you bring it all the way through your body. You can take it even through the ground because you want to ground yourself, but it goes straight down the middle of you. And then you visualize the light from that just radiates out through picture all those chakras. You can name them all, picture them all, your heart, all of them, all these chakras. And throughout all your skin, and then you picture that light radiating past your body, because that's how it literally does. Nobody is just this body. It's all light and space radiating. The light's coming and going all through all of us. And also, what I want to say, I wrote here, the light. Oh, you want this light to go through all the chakras, all that's the yin and yang, the masculine, feminine light channel, and see it right out every cell just radiating. It's just practice. It's just visualization. Now, there's a lesson I want to do about you see an enemy and you put a light in them. I want to remember to do that. And you remember in that, but in that great ray, you're putting it in your heart, because you're opening your heart. This is divine love. And your mind, your mind isn't confined to this head, but we tend to think of it being in this head. And then here's in that Make Me One with Everything book from that Lama Surya Das, there was a meditation I would think about. And so here's the quote from it. Here's a way to intermeditate without sitting on a meditation cushion. Just contemplate what this Hindu saint, and his name is Ramakrishna of Calcutta, explained. Imagine a limitless expanse of water above and below, before and behind, right and left. See, your visualization, you want to get all these directions where in your mind, you're like in a big sphere, this big bubble, but it's not, it goes on to infinity, but there's a front and a back, a top and a bottom, a left and a right. Everywhere there's water. In that water is placed a jar filled with water. There's water inside the jar and water outside, but the jar is still there. The I, in quotes, is the jar. Dissolving that jar is inner meditation. Isn't that great? The jar's the edges of this physical body. Inside here is the light. Outside your shell is the light. So just visualize the jar or the body dissolves, and that you just, it's hard to join when you're not separate, meaning you get the sense of joining, but oh, it's beautiful. Because see, all this are visualizations. You're not apart. You're not separate. There's sky gazing meditations, space mingling in that Make Me One with Everything book. Oh, thanks, Terry. So now I've got to get to that meeting. So let's see what else is in this. Got all these pages kind of mixed up here. Any questions before I stopped the recording? But in that email I gave you, I copied a lesson. Let's see, it's lesson 122, where Jesus says, forgiveness offers everything I want. In that lesson, he rarely uses exclamation marks. He's got 3 of them in there, and they follow with after he says, forgiveness is everything you need, question mark, exclamation mark. Let's see if that's page 5. Okay, there's me a little reminder. Oh, now it's worth reading my email but that forgiveness is a big deal. Here is the answer, exclamation point. Do not turn away in aimless wandering again. Accept salvation now, and see, he's talking now. Now you can let go of thoughts and feelings and rest or be in that clear light and get insights that save you years. Oh, somewhere in here, I want to. Oh, well, I thought I had another one about saving you time, because that I'm always trying to show you that he tells you he's going to save you thousands of years. It just so these practices are just so beautiful and to the point. But this advanced forgiveness, here is the answer, is to reaffirm we look past the flesh, the body, to the spirit, and it's clear light. It's clear light, spaciousness. That's why it seems so odd. Although the body, all these chakras have colors like a rainbow. But anyway, I was hoping to find that little, got so many pages. Let's see if they're right here. Oh, it's in chapter 6, section 2, paragraph 10. He's telling us recognition that separation never occurred. I mean, that is just, it's called a pith instruction. It means in a sentence, you got the whole everything, like the whole Course in Miracles. The separation never occurred. It's just our thoughts. That's what we're doing. We're deconditioning the mind. This is mind training we're doing to decondition us from these habits that we're a body and we're not this clear light spirit that's everywhere, present in everything. But in an instant, you could grasp this. I remember at one time I was at a stoplight. I'd been practicing trying to be not attached to some physical form. And an insight came, how can you be attached to something that's not there? Because see, this is a dream. These are false, illusionary forms. We never put our body in harm's way. But see, you'll get these quick insights. How can you be attached to something that's not there? But that's just an insight. Then you build on that. And you're just keeping letting go of these. You let go of one or two thoughts, could be letting go of 10,000 or 100,000 thoughts. It's beautiful. Any thoughts or questions for, because I have to stop recording before I stop the recording by God, thought or question. Thank you. Let's go around the room and see our brothers as what they are. Clear light of God, presence. God Terry, God Glenda, God Barbie, God Julia. Welcome, Julia. Welcome, Leon. Welcome, Angela. God Leon, God Julia. God Joe. Thank you for coming out. Thank you. And for all those that watch the videos later. Thank you. Every one of you are helping all of you, all these sentient beings that are in 6 realms. Animals, humans, they're just all, there's 6 realms of different types of beings. Your light, even though you may have a bad day or a bad morning, you're stopping at some point during the day, reading your truths, even though you might at that moment think, I don't know about this, but you read it, it's huge because it's settling in this unconscious mind, and you end up purifying. All this is purifying that mind that's deep as an iceberg, but it's getting purified of all these thoughts. And while you do your work, you're helping all of us. It's huge. So keep going. Don't stop. Never fret, never worry, because you're moving faster than you think, because you can use suffering to wake up. You can use physical pain to wake up, because then you breathe in and out of it. You see through it, be through it to that clear light once in a while, and stop and just say, am I dreaming? Hey, this is a dream. Silently. Now, you don't do this in public when people that don't know what we're talking about. No, you're just stopping an instant during the day. Even if you only do it once, then you have your journal. You do it twice, 3 times during that day. And at the end of the day, recount your day, and anyone that you didn't think of as God, just think of them as God. It's that simple. How I was rereading something in that Disappearance of the Universe book. How you think of other people's is how, no, if you think of others as God or Spirit, that's how Holy Spirit thinks. You're thinking like Holy Spirit thinks. When you do that, that's the loftiest thinking you can do. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you. I love you all. Stop the recording.